President Trump is putting the pressure on China. The commander-in-chief hitting the communist nation with a 145% tariff while announcing a 90-day pause on the other nations so we can negotiate those tailor-made deals. 47 meeting with his cabinet as they strategize their next moves.
Everybody wants to come and make a deal.
I'm not sure we could ever have enough time in the day to talk to all these countries because they want to talk and they want to talk now. And they have come with offers that they never, ever, ever would have come with.
Well, we'll see what happens with China. We would love to be able to work a deal. I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries.
After the market shot up like a rocket yesterday, thanks to that 90-day pause, here come the Russiagate losers like Adam Schiff to baselessly claim that there was an insider trading conspiracy afoot.
Who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs? And are people cashing in?
This administration is replete with grifters. I hope there will be a searching, penetrating investigation into the potential for manipulation and insider trading.
Outright market manipulation.
The possible stock manipulation. What, if any, advanced knowledge did members of the House Republican Conference have?
The corruption is just completely out in the open. If someone with knowledge of an economic policy change that would cause the markets to shoot back up right before posting about how great a time it is to buy right before the policy change happened, would certainly be guilty of insider trading.
But Democrats can't quite figure out if it's insider trading or caving to China.
This was not the plan. This was he had to cave because of these external pressures.
The plan was made up that day. It was not nobody on Wall Street. They didn't run it by Wall Street. They didn't run it by business leaders and CEOs.
He blinked, as he should have, because he was about to destroy the American economy.
The president won't cave. He's got a spine of steel. Turn out the spine of steel was no match for the brain of mashed potatoes.
Okay, Jesse, they say it's stock manipulation. But how's it stock manipulation when Trump says at 9:17 in the morning, you know, everybody buy, and it isn't until 4 hours later that he takes the pause?
I mean, Nancy got filthy rich, and now they want to look at stock manipulation. Come on. The Democrats are mad when the market goes down, and then they're mad when the market goes up. You just can't win with these people. Is he caving to China? Is he too tough on China? I wish the Democrats would just help us out for once. This is about economic patriotism. This is about national security. And the Democrats have to just criticize everything this guy does. Oh, he blinked. Wait a second. I thought you wanted him to lower tariffs. Now you're going to investigate him for lowering tariffs? Doesn't make any sense. They say that this is going too quickly, okay? So if you do it the way they want to do it, maybe you go 5% tariff, 10% tariff, 15% tariff, and it just never gets anywhere. And our allies never race to negotiate. And then that's an actual trade war. They'll just sit back and they'll raise their tariffs, and then we get nothing. Trump has to do this fast. He's up against the midterms. He's term limited. We think he's term limited.
He is.
So the only way to get this done is shock therapy, and it's already getting results. You got to do this to get the high-tech manufacturing back into this country. You have to have aerospace, steel. You have to have shipbuilding, medicine, robotics, AI. These are the kind of jobs that can go to high-skilled, high-wage workers in this country, and they have to be done here. And everybody agrees. Jessica agrees. Schumer agrees. Everyone's all agreed on this, but for some reason they're criticizing the way Trump's doing it. Well, what strategy have the Democrats employed? Have the Democrats ever brought high-tech manufacturing back? Had they ever gotten one other country to lower their trade barriers? No. They haven't done any of this. All they do is sit back and chirp. Now, what you're seeing right now is Trump is getting the entire world to rally with us against the Chinese. If he can cut deals so they lower their trade barriers against us, invest in the United States, bring their factories here, and raise their trade barriers against China, what that does to China, it collapses their economy, mass unemployment, and then possibly the regime gets toppled. So if they don't want their regime getting toppled, they have to cut a deal with us so then they can start playing fair, because everybody knows they cheat. They dump cheap subsidized products into our market, they steal our trade secrets, and they send us viruses and fentanyl. That has to stop. Jessica knows it. She doesn't have a strategy. She should just get on board and do the right thing.
Okay. So, Dana, right now we find out that, all the Democrats said we're going to alienate our allies and they're going to start working with China. Now we find out that Australia said no to China. We don't want to work with you. And Trump is exactly where he wants to be. He's got all 75 countries ready to make a deal, and he's alienating and isolating China. And even Kevin O'Leary says they should actually have 1,000% tariff on them because they are so corrupt in terms of how they handle the economy.
So I lots to agree with, and then a couple things I would maybe say, I'm not sure. On the Democrats and helping out, I don't understand why they don't, because tariffs are a left-wing thing. And conservatives for so long were like, well, I don't think I'm for that because that doesn't make any sense in the law of economics. And now you see a lot of Republicans say, well, okay, they can be on the team. They've decided. And like some of them are tying themselves in knots and saying, well, yeah, I know I said something else 3 years ago, but that doesn't matter now because they're on the team. And I actually can be okay with that. If you're going to be honest about it, like you've changed your mind or you want to be on the side, you want to give it some patience, okay, let's go. Let's see how that's going to work. But the Democrats, they're not smart enough to figure out that strategy to say, oh, he's coming our way. Let's co-opt him and put the Republicans in a box. Because if they had done that, they might have been able to derail the bill that Thune and Johnson were able to pass today. Yep. That's the president's priorities. The Republicans have had not a great week. And still the Democrats can't figure out a way to derail that bill. That means to me that the Democrats are in much worse shape than the Republicans are. That they can come together and get that done is important. On the point about the other nations being willing to help us, Australia and also Japan, Korea. So we've talked about the shrimpers in Louisiana. One of the things that happens, if you have a shrimp coming in from other places, that's a problem. So can that help? Maybe, except for that we still have these tariff deals that we need to get done. Lutnick was in the cabinet room saying, well, it's going to take a long time to do them. Time is not something that we have a ton of, but there was good news on that front for people because we talked about this yesterday. Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, now apparently the one that is driving. He's in the driver's seat along with the president. So now everybody knows, like, if the leaders from the other countries are calling, they're not calling around. They're saying Bessent president. That's who they're talking to, and I think that's important for credibility. But on the shrimpers front, there's still a 10% tariff everywhere else until we get them all worked out. And they buy cables, for example, two or three cables a year from South Korea. Those are pretty expensive. That's where those are made. The nets that they need to get, those come from India because that's where and it will take years in order to get those types of things made here. And maybe we don't need to do that if we can buy them from somewhere else. So that's why those deals are super important to try to get done. And I don't think we have a ton of time to do it.
You know, Greg, the truth is that the United States has been pretty much a welcome mat where the other countries just bring in whatever they want, whatever tariffs they want. And now we're in a position to actually leverage the fact that we're the biggest consumers in the world.
That's not a question, Judge. So let me come up with a question. Are the Democrats authentic? No, they are not. No. Did you listen to that? It was like a bat signal went out. They said exactly the same thing. Yep. Just have one original thought, and when you get the original thought, don't share it with everybody else. Expect other people to have their own original thought. You are NPCs, non-playing characters in a video game, the background that provides context to people who live real lives, who are playing the video game, us. The stock market reacts poorly to uncertainty. The problem with Trump, uncertainty is his superpower, and uncertainty brings people to the table and it scares other people away. But we knew this going in. You know, Trump wasn't a Trojan horse like Joe Biden, who pretended to be middle of the road when he was roadkill in the middle of the road. Trump was transparent on trade for 40 years, even when people were laughing about it. So, but people said, okay, we like the whole package. I said I like the whole package, even though ignorant on tariffs. I didn't even know what they were like 2 years ago. That's on me, all right? But you don't marry Ozzy Osbourne and then act shocked when he does drugs. You don't marry Charlie Sheen and act outraged when he's not monogamous. We knew what Trump's superpower is, and we know how it works, and we've accepted it. Only amateurs use the word cave because clearly you've never engaged in a negotiation. And negotiation begins at extremes. And you work towards a middle. Most of these countries are at a standstill, so they got to work towards us. It's a process toward agreement. It is not a cave when somebody agrees with you. Likewise, Trump always starts at an extreme. An audacious start that resets the table, and then you work from there. The idiots in the media have never worked in a negotiation, or if they have, it's through their agent, and your agent sucks. I've been in negotiations where they've offered me an embarrassingly low number to start, and I'm not insulted because I know that's smart. Why would you not start at the lowest level? Likewise, why would you start at the highest level? So I come in with an embarrassingly high number. You wouldn't believe the things I have asked for. Some of the things I've asked for, I look back on and I go, I can't believe I asked for that. But the thing is, that's how you start. You start way over here, they say way over there, and you just bloop, 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 bloop. But government doesn't understand that because they're always negotiating with somebody else's money. So they don't need to negotiate. America is like Tom Brady in his prime, and Trump is his agent working on his behalf. And if he wasn't a bastard about it, he would be derelict in his duties.
So you asked Fox for a jet, and then you settled on a car.
This is how you do everything. In fact, that's what makes negotiating fun. I wish I knew this when I was younger.
Me too. I'm a terrible negotiator.
All right, Jessica.
All right, there's a lot to unpack there. I want to try to, I guess, use different words to make sure that I'm not an NPC Democrat today. But I heard you say Trump is exactly where he wants to be, and he wouldn't have reshuffled his team if that were the case. He wouldn't have said, Peter Navarro, I never want to see you again, and Howard Lutnick, you're the bad cop now, which means that maybe he gets to go on Jesse's show once every couple of weeks.
Wait, Navarro is what?
Navarro is sidelined completely.
Wait, Navarro's on my show tonight.
Oh.
So how's he sidelined?
Well, he's not, according to the reporting, he's not supposed to be.
Is my show on the sidelines?
Wait, is it Anna Navarro?
Oh, no!
God, no.
All right, guys.
Yeah. He's just transparent.
He's also trying to market this as the fact that he paused the tariffs, and he absolutely did not. He canceled the reciprocal tariffs, but we are still, as Dana said, tariffing the entire globe 10%, even the people that we have good relationships with, like Australia. And there was questioning of Jamieson Greer, our trade representative, earlier this week about why we're possibly doing that, and he had absolutely no answer for it. The Yale Budget Lab just came out with new figures based on yesterday's tariff numbers that says that this will cost each American household $4,400. This is the highest tariff rate since 1909.
Who came up with that?
The Yale Budget Lab.
Oh, not the Yale Budget Lab.
Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't pull it out of a cartoon or something wherever you got your point.
We'll see it tomorrow everywhere else.
No.
The Yale Budget Lab.
Why are you making fun of smart people that calculate things? The Economic Anxiety Index for the U.S., it's a chart. And the number is off the chart now. They can't even keep it on the page. The CEO of Amazon came out and said, these tariffs will be passed on to the consumers. Our sellers will 100% not be paying them. You will be. There will be, I think it's 70.
Sounds like the corporate income tax.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Andy Jassy, who's the CEO of it, actually. You guys are talking about this from a very privileged seat where you can say things like, no, you're not. Okay.
Bringing jobs to middle America is not privileged.
Okay, but this is what it's doing. Microsoft announces they're not opening up a new data center in Ohio because of this. Auto plants are.
And how many manufacturing?
Yes, it really, they came, no reason. Walmart saying we can't do our economic forecasting. And you said, what do Democrats know about bringing back these jobs? Talk about the CHIPS and Science Act. Talk about how many manufacturing jobs came back under Joe Biden.
Wait.
Well, wait a minute.
What CHIPS plant was built under Joe Biden?
Yeah.
What CHIPS plant, Jessica?
Names of them? All of the money that came back.
I think it was ice chips.
That's not magic. Joe Biden increased Trump's China tariffs by threefold.
So
Democrats
he
can
agrees
have a
with
nuance. You have to be precise about what you're doing.
too.
This is not precise on
We
any
all
level.
agree that China needs to be tariffed because they cheat,
don't
they steal, and that's all they're
Let
involved
them
in
eat
manipulation.
cake.
Okay.
Delicious.
Who? The Chinese
Marie
cake?
Antoinette over here.
Who's Marie Antoinette?
People who say don't look at your 401k. People who
We're
say
not
I'm
there now.
And yet you're the one
said it
losing your
on Monday
head.
and Tuesday.
No, we're not there
That's just
anymore.
my
I
hair
just
looks
got
great.
to where he's going.
I think my hair looks
Up
great
next,
today.
look who's crawling back for relevance, a Democrat. Kamala wants back in the game.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.